Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel and check today's video out. And guys, today I got one of those videos that I'm going to do that I don't like to do videos like this, but I gotta call some people out because they just sort of stepped over the line a little bit. So I'm going to sort of bring it to your guys' attention here regarding some YouTube bass fishing podcasters. So we're going to discuss that in today's video, and definitely curious to get your guys' feedback on that as well. Also, guys, before we get started, I just want to extend a big thank you to everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling recently. The last month, guys, we have got more channel growth than I have like the last 2 years. It's just been really, really good. So if you've been one of those people that have clicked that subscribe button, big thank you from me and my family. We really appreciate that. Okay, guys, let's get into this a little bit. This is something that's sort of like come about over the last couple months, that you've seen a rise in the number of bass fishing podcasters out there who have really sort of like started consistently villainizing other bass fishing YouTubers for expressing their opinions. And that's what I want to get into a little bit today, is talk about that. And one of the things you notice on my channel here is when I critique something, you know, things that are going on, you'll never hear me mention a pro angler by name. And the reason I don't do that is out of professional courtesy, which a lot of these podcasters don't understand about professional courtesy. When somebody's been in the industry for a long time, it's like a brotherhood a little bit, and it demands respect. And for somebody to go on a podcast and villainize another pro angler verbally, pointing it out, it's pretty weak, you know, in my opinion. So I want to get into that a little bit, you know, what's been going on with this. Now, a lot of this centers around, you know, people like myself and other YouTubers that have opinion channels. We talk about opinions. And one of the things about the really great thing about the bass fishing YouTube genre right now is that it's a source of independent media that we really need. It's like we need these voices out there that are basically, you know, saying things out loud that people are talking about and they don't have a platform to do it. So the independent media aspect of being a bass fishing YouTuber, it's a really good check and balance on the whole thing. And one of the things that we've got into this thing is like when something comes up within the sport, some type of news, usually surrounding something within the tournament world, because tournament fishing is sort of like there's so many offshoots from tournament bass fishing that affect the entire bass fishing industry. So it's well worth it to stay abreast of what's going on in the tournament world. And some, you know, YouTubers like myself, and there's, you know, quite a few other ones out there, we express our opinions on situations that are coming up in the industry. And there's this other group of bass fishing podcaster YouTubers I'm talking about that label people expressing their opinion and exercising their First Amendment rights as being negative. So this is what I want to talk about a little bit before. Now, one of the common threads that you'll see with these channels I'm talking about, and again, I'm not going to name any of them because I'm going to take the high road with that, but you guys know who they are. I mean, it's not a secret. One of their favorite things to do is they attack certain YouTubers for being, quote, negative, you know, and at the same time, they're preaching against this negativity, yet they're bashing and being negative towards their fellow bass fishing YouTubers. So the hypocrisy is very obvious what's going on here. Now, the thing about this, what these guys don't understand, and there's some loudmouths out there, and there's one in particular that is really a loudmouth that has really stepped up the vitriolic attack on a lot of different anglers to the point where it's almost slanderous. It's almost, he could be civilly liable for slander. And like I said, I'm a big First Amendment, you know, proponent, but there's a point at which when you slander somebody's integrity and honesty, you sort of walking a dangerous line there. So one guy out there in particular that's really riding that edge pretty close. You ought to be careful with that. But anyway, here's the problem we have with this is you got these YouTubers out there they're calling the other group of YouTubers negative and always griping and complaining. But what they don't understand is they confuse negativity with somebody trying to affect change for the positive. Now, every YouTuber I know, including myself, that puts out opinions out there, we don't do it just to rile the feathers and to get clicks. That's the biggest bunch of crap that anyone has ever said. And that's what they always say. It's, oh, he's just doing it for clicks. He's just being negative for clicks. That's not what it is. People do that, and they put themselves out in front like that because they're passionate about what they believe. It doesn't have anything to do with YouTube clicks. It has to do with the betterment of the sport for the future and the future sustainability of the sport. And when you have an issue, say for example, the most destructive thing that's ever happened to fishing, which is forward-facing sonar, if you have an opinion on that, and you're trying to affect change for positive by bringing some points out and some critical thinking skills, there's another group of podcasters that will label you as being negative for that, and they call you out being negative against you for the very thing that they're talking about. And the thing about it, unless you look at the situation from a very clear-headed point of view with some critical thinking skills, you can't ever address a problem and fix the problem if you don't acknowledge the problem. Because there's a group of podcasters out there that they just think everything's rainbows and unicorns in the sport. And they don't want anyone to say anything bad about it because they have a vested interest, whatever it may be at the time, to protect that. So when somebody comes along and says the emperor has no clothes on and rocks the boat a little bit about that, they take offense to it. But it all goes back to my point here. It's like there's no reason to complain about a situation or bring a situation to light if you don't offer some type of a solution to that. And that's one of the things that I always focus on and do is anytime that I talk about a situation from my opinion point of view, I always offer a solution to it. Because if you don't, then you're just complaining. But the main thing about this, guys, is I'm getting a little bit sick of it. I'm getting a little bit sick of the group of podcasters out there that think they are somehow morally superior to other people because they choose to, run their, podcast or whatever the way they see it, and at the same time villainize the people they disagree with. It's just not right, man. It's like the easy solution is if you don't like something somebody's saying, if you don't like a YouTuber, if these podcasters don't like something another pro is doing, just don't watch. Just don't watch their YouTube channel. Don't look at their Facebook page. Don't look at their Instagram page, and you won't have to worry about it. But some of these guys, it's like they are doing the very same thing that they are attacking people on their podcast for. And I hate to see it when some of these guys villainize, whether it be pros or industry people or opinion people or YouTube influencers, whatever it is. I can't stand it when somebody points them out and calls them by name and with nobody there to rebuttal, to have a rebuttal with that. Not that they deserve, or not that somebody owes them anything to rebut their point of view, but the point is if you've got an opinion to make on something, just keep it generic and just talk about the bigger picture. Stop trying to point out and villainize and demonize and try to harm certain people just because they're voicing an opinion. That's, like I said, that's just pretty weak to do that. And we've seen a big influx of that in the bass fishing YouTube and podcast genre over the past couple months there. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know that. Like I said, it's just, part of the situation we have here. This just, when you're dealing with social media, guys, some of this is expected. I mean, you got to have a thick skin a little bit to deal with it. But it makes life interesting. It doesn't, who wants life to be just a bread sandwich? And again, the thing that I want to reiterate here, because a lot of people can't wrap their mind around it, do not confuse negativity with somebody trying to affect change for the positive. There's a huge difference between that. And there's some podcasters out there right now that can't seem to wrap their mind around that. So anyway, guys, hope you all are well. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk later.